In getting ready for Christmas this year, I have really been into making ornaments. I've made ornaments on my embroidery machine using my laser cutter. I've even made photo ornaments using very inexpensive wood rounds I got at Walmart and pictures I printed out myself. Now I'm going to drop a video on that process soon, but in today's tutorial, we're going to focus on making sublimation ornaments. If you have a pet, a friend, a child, a grandchild, anything that you can snap a picture of, you can make into a photo ornament on a sublimation blank. In today's video, I have 4 different types of blanks that I'll use. 3 of them have performed very well. The 4th one, I've had inconsistent results. We'll go through all that during the video. Now for this project, I'm going to use this heat press. You don't have to be real picky about what type of heat press you use. Even a Cricut Easy Press would work. I'll also use this sublimation paper from HTV Ront. This is my go-to paper, but there's tons of papers out there that work just fine. I have some heat-resistant tape, I have scissors, I have some heat-resistant gloves, and before I get started, I'm going to grab some butcher paper to protect my heat press. Now this is a quick, fun, and easy project, and I hope you'll stick around. Here's the 4 types of sublimation blanks that we're going to use. And before I turn the camera on, I cleaned each one of them with rubbing alcohol. This is 90% rubbing alcohol. The first one that I'll do is a sublimation coated MDF wood. This one turns out great. The second one that I'll do is aluminum, and it's also coated. Both of these are double-sided. The third one that I'll do is this frosted glass. Now on this one, you put your paper on the back side and it shows up through it. Now this is the only one of these ornaments that you would not mirror your design to make it. And that's because it's coming up from the bottom. And then the last one I'll do is this ceramic sublimation blank. I have these in round and oval. And these are the ones that have been causing me a little bit of issue. I have my paper to protect my heat press, my tape, my heat-resistant gloves, and then when I'm done, I have the little things that go on top. So let's go ahead and start with this one. Now I have already done the other side. This is my sister's cat, and so I'm going to have the cat's picture on both sides. You can actually tape your photos to both sides at once. You would press one side for the right time or the correct time. Then you would lift your press, flip it over, and you'd press the other side. The downfall of doing both sides at one time is you have your sublimation paper here, you have your sublimation paper here, and you can't tape your sublimation paper to your blank. And so I think that gives you a little more room for blurring or ghosting. I like to do them one side at a time, but you can do it that other way. Okay. Now in the software, and I use Silhouette Studio Business Edition, I actually made the design the same basic shape as the coaster, and I made it just slightly larger than the coaster. That way, when you put this down on your photo, you can see when it's centered up. So I just use that software to crop it. Okay, so I can tell there's a little bit of the picture sticking out all the way around. Now I just want to use as little tape as possible on the top of this because the tape can leave a slight indentation. So I'm going to pick places where it'd be less obvious. And the lighter the color, the less obvious it's going to be. So I'm going to pick these 2 spots right here. Because there's a little bit of ink exposed, that's going to be facing down. That would get on the base of my heat press. And so for that reason, I'm going to use 2 pieces of butcher paper under it. I'm going to put this in the middle of my heat press. I think you get the best even pressure that way. And then I'm going to cover it with 1 piece of paper. The temperature that I'm using today is 360 degrees, and I'm going to press this for 70 seconds. You do 70 seconds at 360 on each side. That may or may not be the exact settings that the manufacturer told me to use, but I've made a ton of these, and that's what works out really well for me. So we'll close this down. And as I do that, I'm going to look around the bottom of the press and make sure that it looks like there's good even pressure. On some things, the front of the press will be up a little bit. If it is, I can just take some gloves and slightly pull it down. I think today it'll be fine. All right, let's get this next one ready while that's counting down. For the next one, I have this really cute picture. And notice it's not very bright. That's just the way sublimation ink prints. It takes that high heat for a long time to get those colors to really pop. Like I said earlier, I prefer to do these one at a time or one side at a time, so that's what I'll do. Okay, that one's done. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Be sure and use your heat-resistant gloves. And for now, I'm just going to take the whole pad off. Remember, that's the side I had already done. Let's just set this aside. All right, let's see how far the ink went through. And that doesn't look bad. The problem is there is a little ink on this side. And notice I'm going to be putting the side that doesn't have any color on it down. So if you have ink on your paper and you put that down, you're running the risk of transferring that ink to the back side. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I can put that one on top. We're still going to do this at 360 for 70 seconds. Now these are much thinner, so I don't have to worry as much about the uneven pressure. This is the aluminum coated blank. All right, this is still pretty hot, but it's not so hot that I can't touch it. And look, 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 so cute. So, so cute. Look at the colors of that. Now let's look at the other side and see if there was any imprint left in it from the tape. And I really can't see one. That looks good as well. So there's the first type of blank. Remember, this was a sublimation coated MDF. Let's just set that aside. So our second one's done. Let's take that down here. Let's get another one ready. The next one that I'll do is this frosted glass. Now, because this doesn't have a white base, the colors aren't going to pop on this nearly as much as they do on a white base. It's still very pretty, but they're just not going to pop the way they do with a white background. And I want to use the same picture so I can show that to you. So this is a sublimation coating. I'm going to center that. Again, I made my design slightly larger than the blank. I really like to use the cropping tool. I can go into silhouette. I can put a circle on top of it, a circle that I can see through, and then I can tell exactly what this is going to look like when it's done. Again, we're going to have ink that's exposed to the pad. So I have two pieces of paper. This is just inexpensive butcher paper that I buy off of Amazon. And then I can use one of these over here that's been used. We'll put that on top. We're going to go ahead and let this go through about 2 cycles of this. So I'm keeping it on 360 for 70 seconds. We'll look at it, but then we'll probably press it again. Alrighty, let's see. There's the back side. And gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So, so pretty. Now she has a hole a little bit in her head, but that's okay. That's so pretty. Let's go ahead and do the back side. You can see the ink release over here. And just like I said, it really pops. Okay, sorry for the interruption. It really pops when you add that heat. See the difference in those? All right, let's get my glove on. And let's take a peek at what this looks like so far. So here's the design, and it looks good because it still has the white paper behind it. Let me pull it back just a little bit and see. I don't think that's quite fully sublimated. So as I planned, we're going to sublimate that for 70 more seconds. Okay, meanwhile, we can get the other side of this ready. Okay, let's pull this out. I think I'll set it aside, let it cool down, because glass and ceramic is so hot. So hot when it comes out. Okay, that's what it looks like, but we don't know if that's what the final product's going to look like because I do have this white paper and the extra ink behind it. Okay, let's put it over here on these books to protect my table. Okay, so here's the ornament we're doing now. A lot of ink exposed. And again, because this has sublimation coating on it, I want to make sure I put clean paper below it. So back to 360 for 70 seconds. While that's pressing, we're going to take a look at this one. Let's peek. Ooh, that is hot. Okay, that looks better. I needed that extra 70 seconds. So this one ended up being 360 for 140 seconds. Now, when I put it on here, it looks better than what it does in real life because I have the white background. Then the last one that we're going to do, or the last type of blank we're going to do, is this ceramic one. These are the ones that have caused me some issues. The coated MDF and the coated aluminum have performed beautifully. So in my opinion, I would stay with those. The ceramic ones, when they work, they're gorgeous, but they've caused me some issues, like I said before. So let's go ahead and take this paper off. And another beautiful result. So there's the side we just pressed. And there's the side that we pressed first. Let me show you this. And let me move this orange thing. That is what it looks like. It's very, very pretty. But it's just not going to pop like it does on a white background. You see the difference in those? If you're going for this look, this one performs very well. But if you'd rather it pop, I would get one of the other types of blanks. Now I got a box of oval and a box of round of these. These are PYD Life. The instruction books cover all of the different types of ornaments. They only have one set of pressing instructions in each book for all those sublimation blanks. One book says 350 degrees for 240 minutes. One says 374 for 120 seconds. So here's what we're going to do in this experiment. We're going to do one side at 356 degrees for 240 seconds. We're going to put this down, tape it on, And then we're going to use the settings that they had in one of their books. For the other side, we're going to use the settings they had in the other book. Swing that away and put that in there. Now this is a thicker blank, so I am going to watch the front of the heat press and make sure that it looks like it's down all the way. And it does. That looks like it has very good even pressure, so I'm fine. I have 25 seconds left. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. This is going to be very, very hot. And so I'm going to let that cool down for a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and check the ceramic ornament. It has cooled down. And it turned out nice. Now I will say, I don't think your images are as crisp on the ceramic ornaments. I just don't. And I'll find something to compare that to here in just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to use the settings in the other book, and that was 374 degrees for 120 seconds. Okay, that's cooled down enough that I can handle it. And you know, it's not bad either. Both of these sides turned out pretty nicely. I slightly preferred this one, which was the first side we did. We did it for 360 for 240 seconds, I believe. But both sides are acceptable. Maybe when I had my issues before, I just didn't let them cool down enough and I was causing a little something. That worked out nicely. And then I also did the other side of this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the ribbons on them. I'm going to put this together. Let me show you how you do that. You just drop this in the one side. There's kind of a lip that catches it. Put the other side on. Make sure that your two holes are lined up and just click it together. And it didn't really click, but you push it together. Now remember earlier when I said I just don't think that the ceramic ones come out as crisp as the other types? And I forgot to mirror on one of these, but see the difference in how crisp this one is compared to this one. Hopefully that shows up on camera. So the ceramic is really my least favorite. My most favorite, it is a toss-up between the metal ones and the MDF coated wood. Now I don't like how I tied that. I'll fix that. But here's what we have. Both super cute. This one's okay. Here's the little bonus one. And that camera does not like. The camera doesn't like that. The ring light's in it. It's making it look distorted. But if you could see it, it's adorable. Another metal one. Another metal one. And then lastly, here's that one with the frosted glass. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope it gave you some valuable information if you're looking at doing some sublimation ornaments. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you don't have a sublimation printer, or if you just want to find a project that you could do with kids, check out my next video. That's going to use the wood, the prints I made at home, and it's going to be an easy project. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in my next video. In getting ready for Christmas this year, I have really been into ornaments. I've made embroidery ornaments, paper crafting ornaments, sublimation ornaments, and laser ornaments. I've made sublimation ornaments, paper crafting ornaments, laser ornaments. What's the other one? Why can't I think of all four of them? Sublimation, paper. I'm going to use a small press. Any press would be fine, even a Cricut Measy press. A Cricut Measy press. A Cricut Measy press would be great.